Hello, hello, hello. This is Talking Manchester United, a United Stand podcast with myself, Paul Gardner. And joining me, as always, is Ash Burns. Ash, how are you, my friend?
Yes, not bad at all, mate. Not bad. Pretty decent. Weekend, Monday's here, but there we are. How about yourself?
Yeah, it was all right. It was a good win on the weekend,
What?
followed by, do you know what? I'm not going to mention it. I always mention Formula One. No one's interested in No one's interested in that. But no, it's a good weekend overall. But yeah, like you say, it is Monday. Week this week. I've got Friday off, so that's something to look forward to, I guess.
Stuff.
Well, let's not waste any time. Let's get on with it. We just had a game against Watford, 2-1 victory. A win that we were hoping for to maintain a bit of rhythm. What were your thoughts on the game?
Yeah, pretty decent. I thought we started the first half quite well. I thought we pressured them. We created some decent chances. We were much better anyway. I thought, as good as the first half was, I thought we started a little bit slowly. It was quite even, but then I thought we grew into the game. I thought Sanchez looked lively in patches in the first half, although not, doing very much. I thought Fellaini was fantastic again in the first half. I thought he created chances. He moved about well. He moved the ball, which we haven't seen him do enough. We've seen him do it the last couple of games, but I don't think he's moved the ball quick enough in midfield, and that's been one of our our falling points when it comes to playing the likes of him and Matic. But I thought he did well. I thought Matic was better as well. I thought he moved the ball quicker, and it was those things that plagued us last season when we played the likes of Matic and Fellaini. We were too slow. I thought they really improved. I thought Pogba was all right as well, and it was good first half. The frustrating thing is we sat back more second half. But you've got to give Watford credit. They've been fantastic this season. They were always going to grow into the game, and I thought we defended well when it came to the crunch. And obviously De Gea with a couple of great saves again, sort of kept us in the game. But I was disappointed we didn't press them more in the second half. But hey. 4 wins out of 4 coming into that game. Watford just beating Spurs, so it's not a bad result by any shout. So yeah, pleased overall.
Yeah, it's definitely an open game, particularly in the first half at least. Anyway, I thought we were pretty good in the first half. Like you say, we moved the ball around quite well, quickly as well. Created several chances. I was just disappointed with the second half. I thought, whilst we can say, yeah, Matic and Fellaini had good games and Pogba had a good game, I thought that in the second half, all three of them, although they weren't poor, they did become a little bit sloppy and they gave the ball away probably a bit more than what they should have done.
Yeah.
That's not to take, it doesn't take away from their performance overall. They were good, but I just thought in the second half they let themselves down a little bit. Maybe that's me just being too harsh and wanting perfection all the time.
I don't know.
But let's talk about one player in particular because we have been watching him like a hawk this season, especially after some of the things he's been saying in the media, etc. And that's Paul Pogba. What did you make of his performance individually? I thought in the first half, I thought he was absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, I thought he was. Yeah, I thought he was better than he has been. I mean, he's been very erratic the last couple of weeks, but he's been like that for a couple of seasons now. He'll put in a decent performance and he'll go hiding, and then it'll happen again. I thought he was good. I thought he was good first half. I thought second half trailed off. Again, I don't know what it is. I mean, he picks up the ball in decent areas, and whether it's the front runners not making enough space for themselves or him not thinking quick enough, because I think he transitions that midfield to attack really well. It's just we never seem to have enough options going forward, and whether that's again there's a problem we've mentioned over the last couple of seasons, our lack of wingers in the squad, our lack of width. I don't know what it is, but yeah, I think he needs to adapt his game, and the more that we say he needs great players around him to be a fantastic player. If he's that good a player, he should be able to perform in whatever system with whoever around him. He should be standing out and shining above all. At times he did, but not enough for me. I think he needs to step up. He is improving, and it'll be interesting to see with the congestion of games we've got coming up with the Champions League and stuff, how we'll rotate and who he'll get played with, because I'm assuming he'll play most of the games. So it'll be interesting to see. But yeah, better, but I still want more from him.
Yeah, I think we all do, to be honest. I think we need to see him perform a bit more consistently than what he has done. And if he can put more shifts in like he did in the first half, then he's going Chris Smalling. Let's have a little talk about Chris Smalling.
Yeah.
Seeing as he does feature on the thumbnail for this podcast.
Yeah.
That hairstyle and that goal, which is better?
Well, obviously the goal, that hairstyle is awful. I said to you before, it's like pipe clean, isn't it, on his head? But no, fair play to the lad. Great chest down, a great finish. I did tweet out during the game, Zinedine Smalling, because it was sort of, it was Zidane-esque the way he took it and turned on the volley in his left foot as well. But no, I mean, I thought he was very good again. I give him a lot of stick, as a lot of people know. But no, I can't fault him. He's probably been our best defender this season again so far. And he's doing well as long as he can, continues to perform consistently. And I think it's all about composure with Smalling. He just needs to calm down and look what's around him and pick his head up, because he's not the most technically gifted. He still has to, turn like a boat when he passes the ball. He did it on a few occasions, which made me laugh again in the Watford game. But no, I mean, if he can keep consistent, I'm really, really happy that he's proven me wrong, because we need that consistency in the defender. And, he's been known over the years to come up with a goal or two. So I'm really happy for him, and I thought he played well again.
Yeah, absolutely. I would agree with that as well. Just coming back to mentioning the second half of the game, again, I may have been a little bit harsh saying that we became a bit sloppy, but I mean, let's be fair, as we were saying last week in the preview, they are a team that are playing good football at the moment. That they're scoring goals. They like you say, they won 4 out of 4 coming into this game. With my prediction last week, I said 3-2 being the scoreline. It could well have been 3-2.
Yeah.
The amount of chances that both teams had and the saves that both Foster and De Gea made, it could well have been 3-2. So do you think it's more of a case of less so United becoming sloppy, but more so Watford growing back into the game? Because I thought in the first half, I was a bit disappointed in the way that Watford played. I mean, that could also be because of the way we were playing.
Yeah.
But they just seemed to be extremely long ball every opportunity they got. And I thought, well, this isn't really good football. This is just getting into your front men, very direct approach, which is fine. But I don't know, I expected more. I mean, what are your thoughts on that? Is it just a case of, we were poor in the second half, or they were good?
Well, I think it's a bit of both, but I think the way that we approach the game, with Matic and Fellaini, that 2-man defensive midfield. Fellaini, obviously, I think, well, both of them sort of far back. I think we almost had sort of a back six at times, and I think that made it difficult for Watford to play their game, that free-flowing, passing football through the middle. So I think that may be why they sort of resorted to knocking a long ball long. That makes sense, and trying to get their pacey players onto it. So maybe that was something. I thought we did control the game well, and I thought Watford were always a little bit wary of us, catching them on the break, because obviously Sanchez was lively, and we know how quick he can be, and we know how good Lingard's runs are between the lines and creating space for other players. So I think maybe they were a bit wary, but I thought we came into the game, really positive, tried to start well, got a couple of decent goals, and yeah, took it from there. I mean, we should have been more up. I think the Pogba chance was a massive chance. He should have scored. That would have made it 3-0 just before half time, I think, if I'm not wrong. And I think that really would have killed the game off. It's unfortunate. It's a really good save from Foster, though. So I think if that goes in, it's a different game. I think we approach the second half differently. I think they approach the second half differently. They would have opened up, which would have given us more space. But no, as it went, as the game went on, I thought we defended really well, and that's something that we need to be doing. We need to be defending well, especially I think with the squad that we've got. We keep saying, and especially with the likes of him not going to be playing Martial. All right, he did come on, he didn't do much. Rashford being out now, I don't think we've got much options up top. So it's about rotation, it's balancing the squad, and it's just keeping Shaw up at the back. So yeah, it was all right. I think, as I said, a bit of both. Watford grew into the game, and we got a little bit sloppy, but I'm not going to grumble with 3 points.
No, well, obviously not. It's great that we got the 3 points. It's 3 points we, just for team morale essentially, and to keep the press off our backs. It was a win that we kind of needed to get. If we didn't, we'd still be sitting down mid-table. You're looking at what, I don't know, probably 12th, 13th.
Yeah.
We're 8th now. Yeah, but if we hadn't won, if we lost that game, we'd be way too far off top 4.
We would. We beat 12th, 13th. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I think like I said, in the first half, I was disappointed with the way Watford went. Well, okay, I was happy with the way Watford played because it wasn't too much of a problem for us, but I expected more from them based on where they are in the league and the results they've been getting. But I did think that in the second half, later on in the second half, they did improve quite a lot. Actually, they created chances and they actually played with the ball across the floor and they actually played some good football. So again, yeah, they grew into the game, I thought, but I was a bit disappointed with them at the beginning. But at the same time, it worked out to be better for us.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to add in for the Watford game?
Don't think so. Just Fellaini having another really solid game. I think that was one of the only points. He bagged, what was it? And near enough 2 assists. It was definitely 1 assist. And
he was involved in both goals, yeah.
He was very heavily. So, I mean, yeah, he's playing well at the moment. Although as much as United fans don't like to see him in the starting 11, myself included, he is having an impact. But, we'll see how it goes on how much is involved.
Absolutely. Well, should we go over to... we may as well do the previews then, haven't we? Because we can do the Twitter thing at the end.
We can.
So let's look forward to... the BSC Young Boys. Is it BSC? BS?
I'm glad you didn't say let's look forward to Young Boys. That could have. I'm glad you didn't say let's look forward to Young Boys. I'm glad you added the BSC at the start.
Yeah. Yes, that's it. BSC Young Boys, the Champions League opening game, group stage. Take it away.
Yeah, it'll be an interesting one. I think as ties go, this is probably the perfect opener for the Champions League for us. I mean, as much of a threat as we can look at them to pose, I don't think. I'm hoping I'm going to eat my words. I don't think it's going to be too much of a test. I'm hoping for a fairly straightforward game. They're playing some decent stuff in the Swiss league. A couple of wins. I think the last 3 games was they won 2-1. I think that was in the. They've only played 2 games this season in the league. I think their 3rd game was the Champions League playoff where they beat Dynamo Zagreb 2-1. And then they won 3-0 at FC Sean, and then 3-2 at FC Schaffenhausen. God knows what that is. So they're 2 wins out of 2. Again, it's a difficult one because having not watched any of the Swiss league and only really seen them come up against, I think it was Spurs a couple of seasons ago or something like that. I might have caught some of that game. It's really hard to pick out a style of play and how they're going to approach the game, and even picking out danger men. I mean, I've only picked out 2 danger men. What about you?
I have picked out a few.
Oh, okay.
They're all forwards.
Okay, I'll let you go first then because you're more knowledgeable on this.
I wouldn't say that, but they are banging in goals. These players, Christian Fasnacht.
Yeah,
I've got no idea if that's how you pronounce it, but that's how it's spelled.
Sounds good.
He's bagged 4 goals. Guillaume Haurau.
Yeah, I've Haurau. Yeah, I've got him. Yeah,
4 goals for him as well. And Gamilau and Nsame.
Okay.
2 more forwards. They haven't played every game, but they have been coming on as substitutes and scoring goals. So they've got plenty of players who can score goals, and it's reflected in their score lines as well for the games that they have played this season.
Yeah.
In the Swiss Super League and other competitions as well. And they're not shy in front of goal. Let's look back to August. They put 3 past BL. Then they got a 1-1 draw in the Champions League qualifier against Dynamo Zagreb. Then they won 5-2 against some team I can't pronounce. The 2-1 victory, then a 3-0 victory against Sion, and then 3-2 against Schaffhausen. They're scoring goals for fun at the moment. So they're gonna come into this game very confident. As I'm sure Watford are pretty confident as well. But that doesn't make me think that we're going to struggle against them, because I've watched some highlights from some of their games, and they do look quite weak at the back.
Yeah,
they are conceding goals as well. They've only got 1 clean sheet in their last 6 games, but they do look like they can concede quite easily. So they're not invincible. They're not untouchable. They didn't obviously have any household names in their team or anything like that. So I don't see any great problems for us. I think we should go over there, play our game, control the game, and come away with a comfortable victory. Obviously, we don't want to go I wouldn't be expecting us to go over there and go all out in this game because, like you said, we've got suspensions and injuries and a somewhat of a weakened squad ever so slightly. You know, it's early in the season, but I would certainly expect us to go over there, put in a professional performance, and come away with a comfortable victory.
Yeah, I'm hoping to, and everything's sort of pointing towards that. And as you rightly said, there's no sort of household names. The only other name I did have was Miralem Soleimani. He was the only other person I put in, just because of his experience. I think he's one of the most experienced players in the squad, having played at, I think, probably the highest level out of all their players. He played at Ajax for quite some time, and then at Benfica. So I think he's maybe the only one, who's really experienced at playing at this level. And he'll be ready for the challenge. I think maybe that some of the players could be, I don't want to use the term starstruck, but a little bit overawed at the occasion and at United. So I'm hoping, as you rightly said, for a comfortable victory. And it'll be interesting to see, as you said, his rotation and stuff. We've got Wolves at the weekend, so we're going to have to sort of rotate the squad and pick some different players. Who have you got in your 11?
Well, you see, with the next two games coming up, I don't see very many changes happening at all. Okay. I'll be honest with you. With the performances that we've seen in the last 2 or 3 weeks, they've sort of been improving as we've gone on. It's not been electrifying yet. We've got plenty more gears to go through. But after that 3-0 humbling from Spurs and the defeat against Brighton, we seem to be getting better, and the team hasn't changed very much in those few games. And I think that will continue.
Okay.
So where's my page gone? Bear with me. There we are. So I've gone with, now bearing in mind Matic and Rashford, as far as I'm aware, are available for selection for this game against Young Boys.
Yeah, they are.
So I've gone with the back four of Valencia, Smalling, Lindelof and Shaw. I think Shaw will be coming back in. Young wasn't bad against Watford. I don't think he did enough to warrant keeping Shaw out of the team, especially after what Shaw's done so far this season. So I think if Shaw is left out, that's going to be very, very harsh.
Yeah.
But I don't think Mourinho is going to leave him out. So that's the back four I've gone with.
Okay.
I've gone with exactly the same midfield as we've just seen against Watford.
Yeah.
Fellaini, Pogba and Matic.
Okay.
And then the front three of Lingard, Lukaku and Rashford.
Interesting. Okay.
So I don't think there's going to be many changes. So I think he'll want to kick off this campaign. Like I said, go over there, a comfortable, controlled win to get the campaign underway, and then so I think that's the sort of team we'll see put out.
Yeah, I think we'd have seen more changes. I think if it was at Old Trafford, I think being as though we're going over there, going over there to play at their stadium, I think it's gonna play on the mind of Mourinho a little bit, and I think he's going to want to put a little bit of a stronger side out, just with the experience and to grind out some tough moments. Maybe I've gone with something a little bit different. Who did you have in goal, by the way?
David De Gea.
Right. Okay. I've gone for Sergio Romero in goal.
Is he not injured?
Is he? I don't know. I'm sure I saw him in the squad. Is he not?
He might be then. I don't know. I thought that was why he brought in Lee Grant, because I thought Romero was going to be out for a while.
I don't know.
Was that because we sold Johnson, maybe? I don't know. But yeah, carry on.
Well, okay. I'm going to go with Grant then. I'm going to put Lee Grant in goal. Why not? That'd be fun. Now, this is an interesting one. Well, basically, I've gone with Shaw, Lindelof, and Bailly as part of that back four. For the right back, I'm torn between Diogo Dalot and Matteo Darmian. I'm going to go with Darmian. I think he might give Valencia a rest. I think he might give him a rest for Wolves. And with the midfield, then I've gone with Fred in midfield. I think we'll see him introduced back into the 11. Could be wrong. Then I've gone with Pogba as well. And I've stuck with Fellaini. So midfield three of Fred, Pogba, and Fellaini. And then I've gone with a front three of Marcus Rashford, Romelu Lukaku, and Anthony Martial on the left. So there's quite a few changes.
You're really pushing the boat out there, aren't you?
I am. Why not? Because as much as I don't want to say it's not no game's straightforward, but I think it'll be more straightforward than Wolves. So I think he might rest some players. And as you said, Rashford coming back in, I think he's almost guaranteed to start, being he's suspended for the next 2 league games. It'll be interesting though. What's your score prediction?
I'm going to go with 2-0.
Oh, okay. I've gone with 4-0.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I've gone with 4-0. I just think we're going to be really up for it. You know, the boys back in the Champions League, first game out, put a marker down, and score some decent goals. So I've gone with 4-0. Scenes when we lose 1-0. Good stuff. Right.
No, I hope you're right. I absolutely do.
Right, that's that.
Okay, up next.
Up next is Wolves. Straight after that at the weekend, Wolves, I think most people know how well they did in the Championship last season. Tore it up, spent a load of money. They're really looking to stay in the Premier League, and they've had some decent performances. You look back over the last couple of games. Opening game, 2-2 draw against Everton. Then they lost 2-0 to Leicester, but then they started to pick it up. A fantastic draw with City 1-1, which they were unlucky, I think, not to win. 2-0 win over Sheffield Wednesday in the Cup, then a 1-0 win at West Ham and a 1-0 win at Burnley. So they're scoring a few, but they're also keeping some clean sheets. 3 clean sheets in the last 3 games. Conceding only 1 to that City side as well is a very good feat. So I think it's going to be interesting. Where is the game? Is it Old Trafford or is it at...
Oh, that's a good question. I'm not actually sure, to be honest.
Let's have a look. It's
at home.
It's at home. So yeah. So I think that makes things a little bit easier. Could be wrong, but I think we'll approach the game as we have done. I think we will. I think we'll play decently enough. It all depends on obviously coming off the back of the Young Boys result as well. Who we rest, who we play. But I think we'll be going into this with confidence. At home again. Gaining some momentum, 2 wins out of the last 2 against, some tough opposition, not top opposition, but some tough opposition. And I can see us doing well. Danger men. I've actually picked out 5 for this one. How many have you got?
I have got 1, 2, 3, 4, and I only picked out 4.
4, okay. Want to go first or want me to go first?
Yeah, I'll go first. Okay. So they're pretty obvious. Yep. Raul Jimenez.
Yep.
Adama Traore. Ruben Neves.
Yep.
And João Moutinho.
Okay, yeah.
Not much needs to be said about those players because they are, well, at least 3 of those 4 are household names. They're actually pretty decent players, which I'm surprised are playing at Wolves, to be honest.
Yeah. It is, it is an odd one because, as I said before, they tore up the Championship and they threw some money and they've got some fantastic players. I mean, you look at the keeper, they got Rui Patricio as well, Portuguese international. Again, João Moutinho, known, a staple in that Portuguese team for so many years. Ruben Neves was unbelievable last season for Wolves. And it's an interesting squad. Whether they'll, gel together enough to be able to perform at this level in the Premier League, it will be interesting. The only other person I put as well was
it does seem like it's going to take them some time because they haven't been outstanding when you compare them to what Watford have been doing.
Yeah.
They haven't been great. I mean, they've won their last 3 games and they've kept clean sheets, but they're not scoring that many goals. The opposition hasn't been. I mean, Sheffield Wednesday in the League Cup, West Ham. Everybody's beating West Ham at the moment. 1-0 at home. Well, okay, yeah. Wolverhampton Wanderers. They beat Burnley 1-0 in their last game. So the opposition they faced hasn't been tremendous. They got a 1-1 draw at home to Man City, and they beat. I know they lost to Leicester, didn't they? They didn't beat Leicester. They lost to Leicester, but do you know what I mean? I don't think they're. The results don't speak or don't match the team that they've got.
No.
So I think it's probably going to take them a little while longer than they'd hoped for the team to gel. So I don't think we should be worrying too much.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, they've got players to cause us problems, but I think we've got more than enough to deal with them. For them, for the most part. I think the only other player I had that was I had all 4 that you had, and I also had Helder Costa as well. Not lit the Premier League up, but I know sort of what qualities he had. I think he came through at Benfica, if I'm not mistaken. and I think he was at Monaco for some time. If it's the same Costa, I think it is. And he has got talent. He is a decent player. He gets forward well, so he could be another one. Whether he plays or not, it's yet to be seen. But I think it's all about control in that defence as well. And I think we need to keep possession well. I think we need to feed it forward, and we need to be clinical because we're creating chances. It's a bit of an odd one because over the last couple of seasons we've created a load of chances, not finished them, and then it was a little bit different. Towards the end of last season, not creating as many chances. We've started off the season doing all right with that. I think Lukaku needs to be a little bit more clinical, whether it's a little bit of rust coming off the World Cup. Just needs a little bit more time to settle into the season. But I think once he starts finding his feet and finding the net, as he has done, I think we'll be fine. I think get the ball out wide, and get balls into the box, and we should cause them a lot of problems.
Excellent.
Starting 11.
Okay, so again, very similar to Watford, very similar to what I've got for Young Boys. I've got David De Gea starting in goal.
Yep.
And I've gone with the same back four again, with Valencia, Smalling, Lindelof and Shaw.
Okay.
I just don't think he's going to change much. I've basically got the same team down as what I started against Watford. I think it is the same team. So I've got Fellaini, Pogba, Matic in the midfield.
Yep.
Oh, wait, hang on. No, Matic is going to be suspended for that game.
He is, yeah.
That's
it's
right,
just,
yeah. No,
it's
that's
just
right.
the
No,
one.
it's Fred I've got. Sorry,
yeah.
Because I scribbled Fred out on the other one. So Fred, Fellaini, Pogba.
Yeah.
I think Fred will come in. And then I've got Lingard, Lukaku and Sanchez up top.
Right. Would you say who's in your back four? Valencia,
Smalling, Lindelof and Shaw.
So it's only one difference we've got because I've gone with De Gea, Valencia, Smalling, Bailly and Shaw. I've gone with Bailly instead.
Okay.
I think that's it. Fellaini, Pogba, Fred, Lingard, Lukaku, Sanchez. So it all hinges on Eric Bailly. I don't know. I just think maybe if he gets some minutes on Wednesday against Young Boys, I think obviously because we know how much quality Bailly's got, and I like also the media having to throw something at United to unsettle us after the win because they couldn't write anything. It was something about Bailly is ready to quit United for Arsenal or Spurs. Which is obviously always the media have got to write something. But yeah, I think he'll get some minutes, and I hope he does well. Score prediction.
I'm going 3-1.
Ooh, that's interesting. Okay, I've gone with 1-0. United, obviously. So obviously, don't bet against us. I do actually bet against us. This is an odd one. If I've been having some conversations with people about me betting against United, and I do it quite often.
Right.
And what do you think? Me betting against United, what do you think?
I could never bet against Man United. If I didn't think Man United were going to win, I just wouldn't bet.
But the thing is, I think we're going to win. But the thing with me is, I look at it logically, right? For example, that Watford game, I put a bet on Watford. I put a couple of accumulators and different things on. But if I bet on Watford to win, right? Say let's chuck a fiver down on Watford. The odds are obviously stacked against Watford. Obviously not as much this game, but they were pretty long odds. And if Watford would have won that game, say if I put a fiver on and I get, I don't know, 20 quid back or something, I'm upset that United have lost. But I have that money then that I've won to console me a little bit. But if United win, I don't mind spending a couple of quid on seeing United win. Do you know what I mean?
No, absolutely. Yeah,
And no, it was interesting because a lot of people have sort of had their thoughts on me betting against United at times. And I try and explain that logic and say, well, it's a win-win for me then. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, you're not the first person that I've heard do that. I just couldn't bring myself to do it.
If I can pay a couple of quid for United to win every week, I'd do it. Right.
There we go.
That done.
Right, over to Twitter then, I guess.
Lovely. So yeah, as usual, tweet went out, recording a podcast. Get your suggestions in below. Top of the shop then, Mr. Southwick. Andrew. He said, so honestly, I don't see what people are seeing that Fellaini is doing that's so special. Put any tall person out there and he'll do the exact same job. Have our expectations for people dropped so low that this weekend's performance was a good one, or am I just a bitter arsehole? You are, Andrew, but we'll come to your question now.
Well, you are right. I mean, Fellaini what he's doing isn't special, but what he's not doing, which he did so often last season, is play absolutely terribly. At the moment, he's come into the team and he's done a job. I mean, just look at this weekend. He was directly involved in 2 goals. If he wasn't on the pitch, we may not have scored those goals. He's been tidy. He hasn't. Although I do, like I said earlier on in the podcast, I thought in the second half of the game, all 3 of the midfield became a little bit sloppy. But you can't expect 100% of the time. That's just not going to happen. But I think that he's done okay. We haven't complained about him yet this season, have we?
No.
I mean, of course, he's not the player we want to be seeing in the 11. We want to see Fred in there playing more. We want to see Pereira playing in there more. They had their chance at the beginning. They had that absolute howler against Brighton, the game that I unfortunately missed. So I'm so gutted I missed that game.
Oh yeah,
honestly, I might have to watch it back again.
Yeah, multiple times.
Though I did sort of watch it a little bit later on, I just think I need to watch it again because I don't know. I thought they were both pretty damn good in the games leading up to that. The 2 games before that. And it's just a shame that they haven't had a chance since then. But on the flip side of that, the players that have come in since then have done a job, and we've been getting results. So it's from a manager's perspective. If you've got a team and it's working, you don't really want to change it, despite what we the fans think. But obviously, Fred and Pereira, they will get their chance again, and then it's up to them to take that, because Matic and Fellaini have come in, got their chance, and they've taken it. They haven't done anything wrong, and that's what the other players have to do. That's what they have to do when they're given their chance. Yeah. Look at Martial, for example. He's had his chances, never takes them. And the perfect example of that was against Watford. It was pointless him coming on the pitch. He didn't do anything. His work rate's absolutely shocking. But that's a discussion for another time. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, you are right, Andrew. He's not done anything special. Maybe there is some overreaction in social media. I haven't seen it. But yeah, he's doing a job out there, and we can't deny that.
Yeah, I think the thing with Fellaini is, and I noticed it during the game, he did revert to his old self at times. I mean, there was a couple of occasions where he gave the ball away in the middle of the park, quite blatantly, just due to lack of skill, basically, and Watford countered, and we were. I think
against there were times that Pogba did that, and there were times that Matic did that in that second half as well. So, which is why I don't really want to single out Fellaini, because it's a bit unfair to do so when all 3 of them had their moments in that second half.
No, but I think that's why, because we associate Fellaini with that, because he does do that a lot of the time. But I think I don't want to say masking it, because I think he has been a lot better than he has been, but he's providing, he's contributing to the team. And as you said, Paul, without him, we might not have scored both those goals. It was almost, it's sort of how we discussed Martial a couple of seasons back. I think you were obviously really frustrated with him, Paul, because he was garbage for 88 minutes and then he'd come alive and score. And this is where I stood on the line where, well, if he is, even if, as long as he is contributing and providing, at the end of that, I'm happy with it. And I think it's almost that case with Fellaini at the moment. Although he can be really frustrating, he does impede us in certain areas of the pitch. And he does slow things down on occasion. I think he's been better in that respect, but he is providing. I thought he was really good against Burnley. And I thought, again, decent at the weekend. And as we've both mentioned, if it wasn't for him, we probably wouldn't have scored both those goals. So providing he continues to do that, he continues to contribute to the team. And I think the big thing with Fellaini is he would run through brick walls for Mourinho. And I think that's why he gets the nod. And for me, that's something that is quite rare in football. I mean, you only have to look at Pogba. Regardless of his comments and whatnot, we can see, we've seen how stroppy he can be, and and how sort of petulant he can be at times, with his attitude. And the same can be said with Martial. I mean, I watched him come on the field, Martial at Watford, and literally 30 seconds after he come on, he's walking back as Watford's counter-attack. He's not running, he's walking 30 seconds after coming on the pitch. Regardless of whether people say, oh, that's his style or whatnot, I'm sorry, you work for the team. And you can't argue with Fellaini's work rate. He does work and he does everything for the team. So I mean,
the whole work rate thing with Martial, for example, like you say, coming onto the pitch, just walking around, that's fine if you're scoring 40 goals a season.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But if you're not, I'm sorry, but you can't get away with that.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and as I said before, if he was contributing, I'd probably let him off with it, but he's not. He's not doing anything. So that's where I stand on Fellaini. I think as long as he is contributing, I'm obviously I'm not going to be super happy that he's in the team, but as long as he's contributing, I'll accept it. A couple of replies to that. Behavior thing. A dead body would fulfill that position. Then Matthew McFadden, at least a dead body would stay in position at all times. I like that comment. Pretty good. Anything else? Because we haven't got anything else. I think that's just mostly a discussion about Fellaini. We can move on from that one. Matthew McFadden, a bit of a different one here. Assuming you both have played, who would fit better in this United side and why? Assuming you both have played.
I think he means assuming we have played football before.
Oh, right, okay, yeah.
Me and you. Which one of us would fit better into the current United side and why? I guess
what
that
position
depends
did you
on
play?
what position we played, isn't it, really?
Yeah. What position did you play?
Well, when I first started playing football as a kid at school, playing for the school team, I was playing as a striker.
Yeah.
Purely because my old man played football, not professionally, but he played football every weekend as a striker, and he was a good one. But I didn't follow my dad's footsteps when it came to being a striker. I was absolutely horrific as as a striker. Although when I played for my school team, my primary school team, our very first game, I scored our very first goal, the very first shot of the game.
Yeah.
Header from a corner. But that was the only goal I scored. I soon realised very quickly that striker wasn't my position. My shooting was probably same as Ander Herrera. You know what Ander Herrera shooting is like most of the time.
Yeah.
That's a bit what I was like. So once I suddenly quickly realised that I wasn't a striker, it wasn't long after until I found my preferred position, and that was either at left or right back. Because
okay.
I was quick. I can run fast. I can't anymore. My knees are gone.
Yeah.
But I was very quick, and my long range passing, my passing was actually pretty damn good.
Right. Okay.
I used to play, and my tackling. That was what it was, because I played for a little while in midfield.
Yeah.
Then I was put at right back, and I played the best game of my life. And then when I played for my local town for 2 seasons, I played primarily as a right back, but sometimes as a left back as well. So I don't know.
That's a good shout.
Right back's a spot at the moment in the United team that's could do with a bit of improvement.
Yeah, and that's interesting. Yeah, well, I actually played when I was very, very young. I actually played in goal. But then obviously I became severely vertically challenged. So that moved out. But I've always, from the age of sort of 4 or 5, I've always been either a sort of a 9 or a 10, a striker or just behind the striker. And I played that. I mean, I used to play for Hope Farm Football Club in Ellesmere Port. When I was young, I moved on to Chester then, to sort of the Chester Academy. I played there for a little while as a 9 and a 10. And then I moved around. I moved to Australia, obviously, and there's not so much emphasis on football or soccer, as they call it out there. And I came back and played a little bit around here as well. And I'd say I'm a pretty decent footballer. I usually have been. I mean, been playing football since I could stand up. So, but again, not looking at this current United side. I think we've got Lukaku, we've got the likes of Rashford. Number 10. We don't play with a number 10 with the likes of Juan Mata and that. So I don't think I'd be much suited. So I think Paul, right back, we're quite weak in the fullback position. So I think you get the nod. You get the nod on this occasion, definitely.
Yeah, there we go. There we have it. There's your answer, Matthew.
Yeah. I think Matthew's a centre back, isn't he? He's 6'5" and built like a toothbrush, so I think he could he could do well for us. Sorry, Matt. Next then, Mike Zoltan. If you're Harry Potter fans, what would be your Quidditch team with that United team? Phil Jones would be the best beater in the world. So how many? Okay, that's an odd one. How many players are in a Quidditch team? Is it 11?
I've never watched or read anything to do with Harry Potter, so I couldn't tell you.
That's shocking. Yeah, I think. Okay, I'll take this one. Sort of. I think. I think Phil Jones and Eric Bailly would be pretty decent beaters. They're the ones that basically just go around and batter everything on the field. Phil Jones and Eric Bailly, I think definitely. David De Gea obviously is the keeper. I think maybe sort of Pogba in the midfield. What do they call the midfielders? I can't remember the ones that pass the quaffle about. Is it the quaffle? I haven't read them in years.
No idea.
And it's a seeker then. The seeker's the one that catches a snitch, sort of, and that's the end game. Very nimble, very intelligent. I think maybe Juan Mata. He could be a pretty decent seeker. He's quite light as well, not too heavy on the broom. Where's this going? I don't know. That would be my... And then fill in who you want for the rest. That would be mine. Okay, next up then. Robin Kenston. He's written a twit longer. What's he done now? What is... In regards... He's written as a dissertation. Okay. In regards to time to go, he's his second favorite manager. I'll just try and sort of, I'll try and,
Oh, well, that is long.
That is, yeah. He speaks about the United way. Results are key. Everything's pointing towards United hiring a technical director. Would be interesting. He thinks Jose will walk at the end of the season. Can't see any development in terms of harmony between the club and the manager. Written this at work. It may not be written because hopes to get the message across. I think it's to do with really Mourinho, his style of play, how we're struggling. He thinks Mourinho will go at the end of the season. Will United hire a technical director, and will they be happy enough for Mourinho to stay? Personally, it's a tough one. I really think it depends on how well we finish. I mean, we haven't started the season fantastically well, whereas you look at sort of Liverpool and Chelsea and City, obviously City, apart from the Wolves result, most of them have been immaculate. So it is going to be tough. They're obviously going to drop points, and I think we really need to get some consistency going. And I think obviously a lot of that falls onto Mourinho. We need to get a consistent back four working. That is no doubt whatsoever, whether that's, keeping Bailly fit and getting him in the team, or if Smalling can continue his good start. But I think that's first and foremost. Hello?
Ah, there you are. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's first and foremost, is getting that back four settled. And I think obviously keep creating chances. We keep being consistent, keep racking up points, and I think it'll be interesting. I mean, people make it out as we had a terrible season last season, but we finished, ahead of the likes of Spurs and Liverpool, who were amazing apparently, and only finished behind City. So I think it's going to be a tougher season. I think we'll be lucky to get top four. I really hope we're going to do a lot better than that. But I think with the squad that we've got, and the way that the team, not just Jose, but the team has a tendency to fall back into this sort of negative style, and that's just not on Mourinho, that's on the players as well. It's going to be difficult. It'd be interesting to see what happens in January as well, if we bring anyone in, or if we bring in a technical director, or whatever happens. But I'm still Jose in, if that makes any difference.
Yeah, I'm not going to say too much on that topic, because we did a podcast episode where we spoke sort of in depth about the technical director coming in. Not technical director, what's it called?
Director of football.
Director of football, that's it. Sorry. Yeah. Where we spoke about that guy coming in, and we spoke about Mourinho and last season, and what we can expect this season. We've sort of already gone over that, so I'm not going to go too much into it. But I think what you said pretty much covers it.
Yeah, and then sort of we got Robin Kenston. I'll write into it longer yet. Thanks, we've read that. And then sort of we've got two left: Rome's MUFC and United We Write, and both of them are centering around Alexis Sanchez. Rome says, "Is it time to drop Sanchez? He's been here for 8 months and done nothing. Clearly, Jose has his favourites because he never drops him. We know if Martial has a bad 10 minutes, he's out of the team." And then United We Write comes back in with, "How long can Sanchez continue to underperform before he gets called a flop?" Interesting topic.
Yeah, I think I've seen somebody tweet this. Let me see if I can just quickly bring it up on my phone. But I did see somebody tweet something about Sanchez.
Yeah.
And how it's, probably about time that, he was dropped, essentially, because he's not really making as big an impact as what we would have expected him to.
Yeah.
When he joined us in January, I think it was, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But there was, just having a quick look now. Here we go. So I think it was actually Mark Goldbridge that tweeted it. He said, the agendas against Pogba and Martial and our fan base are seriously disgusting. When Sanchez gets a free ride, it's beyond football. There's a clear reason those two get hate. And I replied basically saying it won't be long before Sanchez starts getting the same treatment. This is his first full season. Pogba and Martial, on the other hand, have been here a little while now. So yeah, I mean, Pogba and Martial are getting a bit of stick from fans. Obviously, you've got Pogba FC and Martial FC; they'll always be around. But they have been getting a lot of stick from fans for a few years now. We are expecting a bit more from them. Whereas Sanchez, he hasn't been here long. This is his first full season. But you know, Rome's and United be right. You're not wrong. It probably is getting toward that sort of time now where, you know, Sanchez really needs to step up. But, you know, I wouldn't be dropping him just yet because look, against Watford in the first half, he was quite lively. He got a few good shots off. He linked up the play pretty well. He wasn't bad. I just think it's a bit too early at the moment to say, you know, let's get rid of Sanchez. Not get rid of him, you know, but drop him. You know, bring someone else in because Martial ain't no better, if you ask me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The only other person really you could put there is Rashford. But I've always said I'd rather see Rashford playing Rashford playing up top, but that probably ain't going to happen, you know, very often this season. That's my thoughts on Sanchez anyway.
Yeah,
I would keep him in the team for now.
Yeah, it's a tough one. I mean, I've seen a lot of talk about Sanchez, and there's been a lot of people say that, you know, it's time for him to be dropped. I'm a little bit split on this because, and I see your point about Pogba and Martial and whatnot. I think with Sanchez, I don't want to say it's a little bit different, but you know, he's done so well and been so consistent for such a long time for Arsenal. Okay, he's coming into maybe a little bit of a different system with different players around him. In my opinion, for the most part, he's got better players around him than he did have at Arsenal. And I think the big thing about Sanchez is how hard he works. His work rate is phenomenal. But for all that work rate, you know, you're a forward at the end of the day. You need to be contributing. I mean, you know, you can look at that cross he did for Lukaku against, was it Burnley? I think it was against Burnley, that fantastic cross he put in, which Lukaku scored from. I mean, so when he gets chances like that, he can provide. But I think it's getting him in those positions. And, you know, a lot can be said of, you know, the Sanchez-Pogba sort of, you know, discussion that we've had. You know, do they get in each other's way and so on and so forth. I mean, I'd really like to see Sanchez play off the right. You know, his best years at Barcelona and possibly his career came on the right-hand side. And we've seen how well he can cross the ball. We know he's quick. We know he's direct. He can get beyond the man and put in a ball for Lukaku. I'd like to see that, but do I think we should drop him? I'd like to see Martial given some time. As much as he frustrates me and as little as he has offered, I think he has bided his time and he deserves some minutes. Whether he'll get that on Wednesday, we don't know. But I wouldn't drop Sanchez just yet. Maybe a game or two again, see how he plays, and then maybe bring someone in. But I am sort of in the same boat that I am getting a little bit frustrated with him at present.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are, to be fair. I think that back wraps it up now, doesn't it, for Twitter? I don't think there's any more.
Nope, that is it.
Any more response.
Yeah,
excellent. Well, thank you everyone for listening as usual, and thank you, Ash, for joining me. Did you want to give out your Twitter details?
Yeah, it's at Ashboyle, ASHBOIO.
And you can follow myself at Paul Gardiner LP. Don't forget to follow our podcast account as well at United Stand Pod. That's where we put the tweet out asking you guys to get involved. I think this is probably my favourite part of the podcast, actually, going through everyone's tweets, because it's, you know, getting some input from outside. So as you are probably all aware, we are also now on YouTube as well. So you can find us on there. Just search Talking Manchester United Podcast or search United Stand Podcast. You should find us either way. Subscribe, like, and give us a comment as well. Or if you prefer, continue to listen on your usual podcast app. But if you have got a podcast app, drop us a comment on there as well. Give us a rating so the people who search for us can get a good idea of what we're like. We know you all have us. talk rubbish at times, but who doesn't?
Yeah, exactly.
Even the people that are professional get paid to do it, they talk rubbish as well. So why shouldn't we? Yeah, I think that's about it. So yeah, cheers, Ash. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you as always.
And we'll be back next week, hopefully celebrating 2 victories. So until then, take care.